Hello, Love Wrestling. It's Thursday night. It's 8 p.m. And you know what that means. It's another new episode of Between Two Beards.
Can we start off with the biggest news of the week? The Rats lost! But every night I'm making new best friends, and the only problem is we like having a good time. Forget yourself now. If you've got the budget, I've got the time.
There he is.
Hey, boss!
There's the boss.
Hey!
The man with the finest beard on this screen.
Canadian boys, shut the hell up. Let me talk.
You see, the Rads are resourceful. When I got beef with somebody, I can find a way to talk to them.
Listen between two beers.
Getting down.
Hello, Love Wrestling. It is Thursday night, and it is 8 p.m., and y'all know what that means. No, that's not
the wrong one. That's
why
why I don't push buttons. That's what it means. Because I don't know. I felt like maybe you needed some help today. I was trying to help you out.
I didn't need help.
I was trying to help. I was trying to be a good co-host, a good friend, a good brother in arms.
This is how we start. This is how we start tonight. This is how we start.
Me trying to help you out, yeah.
Yeah. Appreciate it. But yes, this is another new episode of Between Two Beards. Welcome in, friends. David, the boss man, is in the chat. Zach, happy Juneteenth to you as well, my friend.
Yes.
Lawrence, hello. Yeah, but we are here, episode 213. Appreciate everyone popping in the chat. How we doing? How you feeling, Plugger? How you doing?
We're good. We're hanging in there. I had the day off, so I trimmed some hedges.
Brag, why don't we?
Took the boy to a friend's house. Spent money. Because,
hell yeah.
Of course, I'm sitting around scrolling on the internet today and I bought a Washington National City Connect hat that was on sale.
The new one or the one with like the flowers?
The roses on it, because I thought it was on sale. Then I bought a book, Steph DeLander's new book, and I'm like, why am I spending money on my day off?
Because that's what you do.
I guess.
That's how they get you.
But it was nice. We had a crazy storm last night. We have a heat wave coming in. And then I did hang out, plug out spending money on like them Red Sox.
Ryan, don't start.
Ryan definitely will start. Speaking of Ryan, I hung out with him last night at the Mark Order podcast. I filled in for Asian Joe and Kate because they were too busy. Whatever Ryan said, they just didn't want to be there. So quit spending money, Pluggo. At least it wasn't yours that time, Spencer. But anyway, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We're getting super close to 5,000 subscribers here at Love Wrestling. So if you could smash that button, share it out, tell your friends. Let's get to 20 likes because we've got a debuting guest. Before we bring him on, JPJ, how are you this week?
I've been in hell.
I'm aware. That's why I asked.
I've been in hell. I hate my baseball team.
I mean, so do the New York Yankees.
That's all.
Okay.
I'll leave it at that. But you did say we do have a first-time guest this evening.
I don't know what the boss has popped into. I'm assuming to just do quality control.
I'm not here for a conversation, you guys, but Pluggo, keep the Oilers' name out of your goddamn mouth.
Wow.
I didn't say anything about the Oilers. I
heard it. I'm pulling the clip, and that's all I've got to say.
What clip?
Uh-oh.
What clip? I don't even
mention anything.
hockey.
I wasn't going to mention anything. Anyway,
What
we
is
yelled at? We got yelled at before we even started. What the hell's going on?
what is this? What is this clip that he speaks of?
Listen, he might have missed her. I don't know.
I know. Listen, first of all, I know absolutely nothing about hockey outside of because I don't watch it every year. I can't. I try to get into it. I just don't. Like we've said 100 times on this show. So I'm interested to see what clip this is because now the boss is mad. So before we get fired, let's bring on our debuting guest.
Yes.
I found out a piece of information about him before the show that has soured me a little bit, but we're going to pull through this. We're going to work through this. The one and only Tyler Wrestles is in the house. He's a St. Louis Cardinals fan. I can't believe it.
Pluggo, obviously. Yeah. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate you being here. We're excited to have you. Yeah, I'm surprised, but Pluggo clearly didn't do his research before
I missed that one. Okay?
And he's wearing a Cubs hat tonight. Like he's like, I'm wearing a Cubs hat. And right before, Tyler pops in the back, and I'm going off about Rafi Devers. I'm just going off about it still because it's the only thing I can think about. It's terrible. I love sports, obviously, but there's a certain misery that comes with sports, and I'm going to be honest. I'm not saying this to be cocky, but up here in Boston, it's been a while since we've felt that misery. It's been a while. And I've been in it. And then Pluggo asked Tyler, "Hey, what baseball? This is JPJ. This is how he is. What baseball team do you like?" And Tyler answers, "The St. Louis Cardinals." And Pluggo goes,
I don't know how I missed that. I've been following you for a while. I guess I never. You have to understand it. He knows full well why that upsets me in the sense that you know how many times the St. Louis Cardinals and some no-name player that no one has ever heard of has stuck it to my Chicago Cubs. It is like scientific.
It's the way it goes.
Yeah.
It's the law of the land.
Yeah. Well, if it makes you feel any better, every time that we played them, we took care of them for you.
You did.
But anyway.
But the worst part about it is every time that said St. Louis Cardinal player plays out of his mind for the St. Louis Cardinals, the second he leaves the organization, he is a bum.
Oh yeah.
It's like they have we call it the Satan chip in my part. They put a chip in them so they play well. Then when they leave, they take it out.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Anyway, so first and foremost, how are you, sir?
I'm doing pretty good. Other than like I said, I was kind of explaining to you guys before the show. Monday, I thought my allergies were killing me, but I think I actually have a cold of some sort. And I had a sore throat the last 2 days. That's gone, but my nose keeps running and coughing and all that. So my voice is a little deeper tonight, but that probably sounds good on here, I'm sure. So
the sultry tones.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Hey,
welcome in. I've been good.
Good. Well, we appreciate you being here. Looking forward to got some stuff to talk about, obviously, in WWE land and stuff like that. But before we get into the wrestling, get to know a little bit more about you and stuff. So how I like to ask where the fandom started. So because I'm old, so I just ask just to see where I line up with things.
Back in my day.
So like when did you first start falling in love with pro wrestling and just kind of becoming the fan that you are now?
I mean, I'm fairly old, I guess, compared to a lot of people, it seems like, but I don't know how old you are, but I mean, first of all, I grew up on a farm. We had 3 TV channels growing up, and every so often with our antenna, which people these days don't even know what that is, other than some old people like me, we would pull stuff in from our Minneapolis station in to get wrestling every so often. Otherwise, my grandma, who lived in town, she had cable. And when I was like in middle school and stuff and going into high school and all that, that's when the big Attitude Era, WCW, NWO stuff was happening. And she would actually tape. Well, she used to tape Nitro for me because I used to watch Nitro. And then after a while, I would go into her house and I'd watch all that live. I'd go back and forth between Nitro and Raw and all that. And that's kind of how it started. My grandma even though my grandma didn't watch it, she didn't care if she would always tape it for me, or I would get to go to her house and watch it. So that kind of really sparked it. And then eventually, when I was a senior in high school, I went to the DirecTV store and bought a DirecTV dish and told my parents, "Hey, I'm putting this on the house." So
Awesome.
I didn't have to worry about that anymore. And then we had pay-per-views and all that. But we watched a lot of the tapes from the video store. I mean, that had a lot of it too back in the day with the VHS tapes from like the old Royal Rumbles and the WrestleManias and stuff like that. I mean, all of our friends would get together and watch them and stuff like that. And one of my friends was he was actually a tape trader back in the day.
Right.
And he would actually get us we'd see lots of cool things from like New Japan and All Japan and different stuff like that. And just like some weird indie stuff that I don't know. Sometimes like back then I was like, holy crap. And now it's like, oh, that's not the big deal. But
yeah.
But yeah, that's just, basically VHS tapes and just kind of skimming off my grandma's cable.
Yeah. And I know to some people they're going to be like, what are they talking about?
So for those listening, that might VHS tapes are the things that they were made before DVDs, and DVDs are the thing that was a big before streaming.
Yes.
When you bought the dish for the parents' house, did you also kind of like hoard the remote, be like, it's my cable now, I'm controlling the remote? Yeah, like they would do when you were a kid. You'd be like, it's my TV.
I put it in my bedroom.
Oh,
I put it in my bedroom, and then eventually I told them I would get them a box for their living room so they could have it down in their living room. So that was the compromise, basically, to drilling holes in that side of the house.
I love that.
That's fair enough. That's dedication. So you said you switched between Nitro and Raw. Which did you prefer most?
Back then, I was a big WCW guy. I was all about that. But then, you had to keep tabs on what was going on with like McMahon and Austin, and then obviously I was a big DX fan and stuff like that. But yeah, I was all about staying in the NWO and Hogan and all that stuff. It was just, that was my jam until it started getting really bad. Yeah. Then I forget that last year or so until the final show. I can remember that vividly. But
yeah, well, oddly enough, one of the guys that was one of the catalysts of WCW back in that era you're talking about is fighting for a world championship in a week and a half.
Oh.
So we can talk about that if we want.
Yeah.
I know. I assumed we would. No. But what a time to be alive, huh?
Did you ever think that was going to be Bill Goldberg still wrestling strong here in 2025?
Not in a million years. I kind of felt like the last time we saw I thought the last time we saw him was going to be it, and then he started complaining about wanting a retirement match, and then I'm like, oh, we're going to get at least one more. I think we're still going to get 2 more matches out of him, but
2? Don't put that into the ether. Why 2? One's enough.
We'll just talk about it quick. I put this out there because I've been speculating that they're doing this on Main Event, and I feel like we're going to get that, and something's going to happen, and we're going to have to. This is going to be a SummerSlam retirement match thing. I don't know if Gunther is going to get Ludwig Kaiser back in the fold to help interfere, or something's going to happen, and then we're going to have a basically title versus career match or something, and I don't know, one way or the other, Goldberg's going out at SummerSlam, in my opinion.
All right. So obviously we had the thing that happened between them last year, right? When they were in Atlanta. Was it Bad Blood? Was in Atlanta. We did that thing, and I thought that segment was fun and it was good and whatever. So we kind of knew when we heard the rumblings that this could happen for a while now. My thing is, and again, I very much liked them putting the belt back on Gunther. Like I thought, and that's not an anti-Jay thing. I like Jay. Jay's fine. I just thought that there was just Gunther's a different level of champion to me. And so I was happy that Gunther won the title back. But Goldberg, if you want to do the match, that's fine. I'm not against the match. It's going to be 5 minutes max? Like it's going to, it's not going to we're not,
Yeah, I don't think they're going 60.
No, and I think it'll be entertaining and it'll be good. But like, why does Bill Goldberg deserve a world title match?
Because he's Bill Goldberg.
The name alone's probably bought out of it, but yeah, he don't deserve one. That's for sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Can I really quick before we dive a little further into this?
Yes.
When we found out you were coming on, we already pitched graphics and stuff, and Zach told us we weren't allowed to use this as the thumbnail. This was the original thumbnail for tonight's show. Goldie's back.
Nice.
We weren't allowed to put that. I told him we're using it anyway because that's what my initial thought. Goldie's back and he's getting a title shot.
Yeah,
And,
I like it.
but I guess the discourse this week has been a lot of like, did we have to do Jay like that to get? Why does Goldberg have to immediately be inserted into a title match? Why can't he just have a match, a retirement match? Why does it have to be for a championship? Obviously, I think as we sit here now, I don't know if you guys think he's going to actually beat Gunther. The only way, and this is because the only thing I keep thinking is if he beats Gunther, Seth has to cash in immediately. And even that I would feel gross about because I don't want to even have Goldberg winning. But that's the only way to do it.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah, the boss says Seth only cashes in if Goldberg wins, which is the saddest sentence I've ever typed. No, yeah.
Like he could just have a retirement match, and I think, and that's always been the problem with Bill Goldberg in the last however many years he's been doing this. It's like he always seems to have to be in these title matches, and it's like, can't you just if you just had a match,
have a match?
And we would be like, okay, like, yeah, we're not super stoked on a Bill Goldberg match, but at least it's not interjected into the main event scene. It's a one-off. It's cool. We'd be like, all right, fine.
Yeah. Or what Tyler said, this match should be title versus career. Like, you know, like that's what this should be. If it's just for the title, it's just like the guy's had 5 matches since 2020, and he's 1-4. And I understand it's an all-time name and he's a Hall of Fame. I get it, but no, I believe, and I'm under the assumption that Gunther will be the champion when this match is over with, whether he wins or it's a DQ or a schmalt, whatever. I don't think, or at least I hope he doesn't lose the belt to Goldberg, but it's just like, I don't know. It just feels weird to me. I'm just like, you gave Gunther the title back just for this?
Yeah. And I guess the way I see it is like they haven't actually, because they've been talking about this retirement match. I need a retirement match, and they haven't brought that up once going into main event. So that's why I kind of feel like we're getting that second match at SummerSlam, and I think Gunther will win at main event, and there'll be some reason for that happening. And then Goldberg's going to be like, I want another shot, and I'll put my career on the line type thing, and that will be it. And that's what leads us into the next big match, and will completely, hopefully, be the end of it. Because I'm ready for it to be over. Like a lot of people.
Yeah.
I was a Goldberg guy back in the day, but it's
I
running.
I was just going to ask.
Goldberg guy too?
Well, you didn't like Goldberg when he was like first around? Everybody liked Goldberg.
No,
he was badass.
I didn't.
When he first came out, I loved
When he first came around?
No.
Yeah.
Not me.
Come on.
I was a NWO guy for sure. 100%.
Yeah, that's fair.
I've been dabbling my toes back into some old WCW though, because I kind of want to chronologically watch the Nitro era, just because as much as I fondly remember about it, there is a lot that I've forgotten because, you know, just age. And when I was the age, I wasn't really dialed in like I am now. But yeah, Goldberg wasn't my dude.
He's one of my all-time, not Goldberg.
Not that WCW Goldberg wasn't bad. Like, I don't think I hated him as much as I do now, in the sense, like, I don't hate him as a person. Obviously, it's storyline. I'm like, this guy comes back, he ruins the Fiend, he does some of the stuff that they do with him doesn't make sense, and I don't know who's making those decisions with Goldberg, like saying in 2025 he's a world title contender.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Like, is he that valuable to? Did he spike viewership that much where you go, he's got to be in this title picture? Like somebody, or is that him saying, I'm not coming back unless I get a title shot? I don't know who's making those decisions, but yeah. Well, what's up, Maria? It is okay that you were late because you said the Nitro era was excellent.
It was. And I did the same thing. I would flip through it. I would predominantly watch WWF at the time. I would be watching Raw, but during commercials, I would be flipping to Nitro. Unless, but like I said, if Nitro had a bigger match on, I was watching the match.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I would tape everything on the VHSs and stuff like that. I never got into like the trading of stuff, but yeah, we would go to every Friday as a family, we would go to the Blockbuster or whatever, and I would rent an old wrestling tape, and I was doing that and all that stuff. But I was an NWO kid too, Pluggo, so you're not alone there. But before they started, like Goldberg would be 39-0, and then on the next Nitro he'd be 52-0, and it's like, well, wait a minute,
just mowing down people at this local
What's going on here?
store, dude. Adding them stats.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, go ahead. Well, he better not win.
What are the chances? If you had to put a percentage on it, what are the chances? Because they haven't. Here's the thing: Saturday night's main event. They don't do title changes on Saturday night's main event. So far, it hasn't happened. It didn't happen back then, from what I understand, because I didn't really watch a lot of Saturday night's main event back in the day. So it doesn't happen. It would be a monumental thing if it did. But as a Goldberg World Championship victory at Saturday night's main event, what you want to do, I don't know. And if he is going to retire in 2025, can we have two world champions in retirement tours going on at the same time?
True.
That's kind of with the whole Cena stuff. Now we've got two guys that are just on their way out, that are past their prime, holding the top gold.
I guess my only caveat is if they don't do a second match, it's because it's in Atlanta. I mean, that's Goldberg, where he's from, and I mean that maybe they won't go on from there. But I just got a weird feeling we're getting a second match. I don't know. Ever since they announced it, I'm like, this doesn't seem like it's big enough for him being Goldberg and his ego and everything. This is going to be my final match on a Saturday night and main event. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't disagree there.
Yeah, I mean, see, when you're asking me percentage with Goldberg, I feel like
the Goldberg effect.
Yes, I feel like it's a different, Now, again, this is a different regime that is making this decision than, some of the ones they've made prior with Goldberg in the last, handful of years or whatever. But I would think that they would not do that to Gunther. But, I don't know.
Gunther, your transitional champion to get to Seth Rollins.
Maybe.
Famous Chicago Bears fan, Seth Rollins.
If Goldberg wins, Seth has to. I agree. Seth has to cash in. Bears, huh? You guys are going to be, the hype is there.
We were the hype last year, and look how that went. So,
I feel
like
we're better now. We're better now, in my opinion.
I feel like that was
we actually
young
have a
players
coach.
plus a coach. Yeah, that's what that was.
A coaching staff, I should say. We have great coaching staff.
Yeah. So I feel like you guys should naturally be better, or at least more organized.
Yes.
I feel the same for, what I'm dealing with in New England. We had the same thing. We
had
a young quarterback and a guy that wasn't ready to be a coach,
Yep.
So
I still need to pick a team for this season.
That's what Pluggo does.
So I see.
Well, I don't pick like a front running team, but I was a Bengals fan and a Browns fan, and let's just say they make morally questionable decisions, this organization.
Oh, yeah. The Bengals are kind of my second team, like my AFC team.
Yeah, they're good now, but when
I've always just had a thing for them just because they've been bad, and I always want them to succeed.
Yeah.
I like the bad teams. I want them to be good.
Yeah.
Well, when I was a fan of them, it was the Marvin Lewis era with it was grimy and gross and all the issues. And then now it's like, man, if I would have stuck it out, now I just kind of feel bad if I went back to them, like, oh, now they're good and you're just front running. But speaking of which, what did you think? What was your reaction when Becky Lynch came out in Packers country in the Bears gear and was taking shots at Packers fans? That had to have been pretty sweet.
Obviously, it was awesome. I mean, not just because it was Bears gear, but I mean, you're going to have your arch nemesis wearing the opposite, that team's clothing. I mean, awesome heel move on her part, and I absolutely loved it. I was going nuts. I know Wheezy hated it. I was watching her. I saw her reaction. I also then posted her clip of that and put a bunch of Bear stuff all over it. So I was having fun with her. I like to mess with her
famous
on the
Detroit Lions fan. Please.
Yes.
Yes.
I was going to say,
But
you do like. You said you like the teams that are bad that then become good. I assume the Lions are not on that list.
No, because I had the Bears have always been my team. So and we have been pretty bad. So I mean we've probably, I think if not they're number 1 or number 2 with the most quarterbacks in like the past 25 years.
I wanted to ask, so as a Bears fan who got to watch, I assume, all of him last year, what is your opinion of Caleb Williams?
I think he'll be okay. I do think he is extremely intelligent. I think a lot of what happened last year just was, I think he got a lot of bad advice from the coaching staff, honestly. And I think Ben Johnson coming in already has pretty much said the big thing with him is get the ball out. And that's what was his problem last year as a rookie, because he didn't want to screw up. I mean, he went almost 9 games without throwing an interception, I think, last year. And Ben pretty much said, I don't care if you throw an interception. He's going to get the ball out because you can't get sacked and lose us 10, 15 yards. I just feel like he needed more NFL coaching that would help him and benefit him. And with the pieces they plugged in, and now that they actually have an offensive line, that's going to help a lot too, because they brought in basically one of the best guards and tackles in the league, and they got a hell of a center now too. I don't know. Plus all the weapons around them. I just feel like they've got to be better this year. If they aren't, there's something really wrong. But I think Caleb will be fine. I really do, and I feel like I wouldn't say that if I didn't see a lot of other actual people that know football better than I do say they think they'll be fine.
Yeah.
Dara the Amazing's in the house. How's it going, Dara? Mrs. Pluggo's in the chat, the love of my life. We always acknowledge Mrs. Pluggo around here. What's up, good looking? How you doing? It's sorry, I have a flirt with my wife while guests are in the house. But I was surprised last year that the Bears didn't cut ties with the coach and just start fresh. Now Caleb has to learn a new offense. But I think that Ben Johnson is going to make sure that he's got it down, and he's a coach that I think Caleb's going to respect. So I think you're going to have a good year. Plus, last year in the NFC North, it was kind of like you had the Lions who were good, the Vikings who were surprisingly good. I think they're going to come back. I think they're going to come back down to earth a little bit. The Packers are always going to be the Packers. I think it's going to be a more competitive division this year than last.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
All you got to do is win a couple more of them games. You'll be all right.
Yeah. Well, that's just it. We were close quite a few times last year.
Yeah.
I mean, we got blew out a couple times.
Otherwise,
I mean, we almost beat the Lions in Detroit.
Yeah.
So
I think you should have. That was there was some mismanagement.
Exactly. Again, back to the
that
coaching.
Was Thanksgiving, right? Yeah,
that was his last game, right? They got rid of him after that.
He forgot to call a timeout or something.
The end of that game or the end of the half was like, what the hell are you doing?
Yep. I was so pissed. I was so mad.
I'm sorry. Like I've been watching football for a long time. I feel like I know the game pretty well. I should not know what to do more than the guy that is paid to be the head coach of a team on the side. Like what?
Exactly.
How do I know how to coach this team better than what? Come on. So
yeah.
It happens. But
ridiculous.
I know.
Speaking of that, Becky, I saw Brock Lesnar jersey, like the Vikings jersey in that crowd.
I did see that too.
Yeah.
That fan base on Monday night, man, they were having a good old time.
I mean, what else do they got?
They got the Packers.
Yeah, but they're not playing.
Yeah.
What else do you do in Green Bay? Come on.
they got the Giannis Antetokounmpo trade rumors up there, dude.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, all right, but that's not a good thing.
They got the Brewers, man.
That's Milwaukee, though. I don't know how far it is from where to
it's Wisconsin's all the same, right? I don't
think so.
No, I can't imagine. I don't know. I've only been to Milwaukee once.
Yeah. All right. So on Raw, there was an unfortunate incident that occurred on Raw.
Mm-hmm.
And Liv Morgan.
Goldberg. We already talked about Goldberg.
So technically, yes,
back.
there were two unfortunate. There were two unfortunate incidents on Raw. This one was very unfortunate. Right at the beginning of the match, for crying out loud, it was Liv Morgan and Kairi Sane, just a simple drop toe hold, and the way that Liv went down and planted, she and the report came out from Fightful today, so a credible source, that she separated her shoulder and it's really bad and she's going to need surgery and it's going to be out for a while. So just stinks on top of that. And obviously we wish her a very speedy recovery, especially anyone. But Liv Morgan is a very important piece to the women's division, especially on Raw.
A lot of stories.
Exactly. She was involved in multiple things currently. Just a terrible situation and scene. And I thought Raw was a pretty good show overall, but that really killed the vibe of the rest of the show. I thought the show kind of just went down, not bad, but it just like the vibe was just not great. The rest of the
well, because it was when she injured it, I think everybody was super confused because, like you said, it was a very routine move, and they were checking on her first, and Kyrie's in there kind of like, I'm not sure what's going on here. And then, it just puts a bummer because it's now what do you do with the tag titles? The Judgment Day stuff with Roxanne's now on hold.
She was doing Nikki
Bella for Evolution. Yeah. Now what do you do with Nikki Bella? Yeah, the Bella twins. It's a super bummer. We wish her the best. That was a real blow to the roster there. And then acknowledge your matriarch of B2B. That's a good one for Mrs. Pluggo. It's a good one.
When it happened, I mean, I saw her. I said this while I was doing my live stream. She went down by the barricade, and I saw her like try to bash her shoulder into the barricade. Yeah, like I'm like, shit. She separated something, or she popped her shoulder out of place, or something. I knew something was wrong with her shoulder instantly, and then they called it. But I mean, it was just a freak accident. And I saw so many people that are just all about Kairi Sane's injuring everybody. I'm like, that was just a freak accident. I mean, 2 people in the last few months have wrestled against her and got hurt, and both of them were freak accidents.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you can't blame her because I mean, just the ridiculous people online just throwing hate at her because she's injuring everybody. I'm like, no, that's not what happened.
There's this really obnoxious group in the IWC that like anytime it's a women's match and something happens, they all just go crazy and pile on. Like you look at the Zoe Stark injury and it was a fluky thing. Her leg just kind of got caught in the canvas a little bit. And then this wasn't anything. Liv did everything she was supposed to do, and her shoulder, it happens. Like, but for some reason, that group of people on the internet love to just pile on women's divisions, be like, oh, see, look what happened. Well, Seth Rollins has injured a few people in his day. I don't hear anybody dump it on that guy. It happens. It's just really unfortunate the way they treated Kairi Sane on the internet. Like, she didn't do anything.
Well, and even like this weekend, I was at Wrestling Revolver. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that.
Oh, hell yeah. You were at that show?
Yeah, I go to all the Iowa shows. I was front row.
Hell yeah.
But I know a lot of those guys real good. So, but yeah, Priscilla Kelly, Gigi Dolan, I mean, we had to stop the match for that. Mm-hmm. And I mean, there were 1 or 2 people there that were kind of being dicks about it, but for the most part, the crowd was pretty awesome. But then online,
her knee.
Even today, or yesterday late, she had to put, "I'm not injured. Read my post before on Twitter." I mean, she put all that and stuff. I'm like, she's had a what is it, congenital or something like that.
Yeah, something like her kneecap just pops out. Yeah, I saw that.
I mean, and I'm sure it hurts like hell, but like she even said, she probably could have went, but actually Zach was taking his tape off and he's like, no, we're done. We're just going to go. Because they were actually supposed to fill in for Steve Macklin and Deonna Purrazzo because they didn't get they're having flight issues and wrestled later in the night. And since that happened, then they didn't do that. So, but
unfortunate things happen,
idiots. Yeah, exactly. Stuff happens.
Yeah.
It's athletics. It's an athletic thing. It's like a sport, basically.
I was going to say, a football player tears their ACL in a play. Nobody runs and goes, oh, that other player, like, unless it's it's very rare.
Yeah.
But like, it's the same thing.
Storyline.
Yeah.
It's like, no, it's not. They're actually hurt.
Yeah.
You can tell.
Exactly. But yeah, I do.
We all become internet doctors when an injury happens. Yeah. When you're just like, come on, guys, you don't know the human body.
But now there are though, unfortunately, there are a lot of questions about what they do because Evolution is really right around the corner now. And Nikki Bella was
That was it. That's really been the only thing that's been really set. Yeah, in NXT, they've got the JC Jane stuff going on for the title there. But yeah, the Liv Morgan, Nikki Bella thing so far was the only thing they've really sold.
Yeah, that was the thing where you knew they were going. Now, obviously, Nikki Bella is going to have to do something differently. And she is one half of the women's tag team champions. And they've been slow playing the Roxanne Perez angle there's a lot of things that are going on, especially on Raw. Like she's involved in multiple situations and multiple segments throughout the whole show. She is a main character on that show. And now she's going to be gone for the foreseeable future. It's like, there's just a lot. Now it's like, where do you pivot these stories? Do you just abandon them or other people? It's just, there's just a lot going on that we're going to have to figure some stuff out.
You almost got to think they're going to have to pivot Roxanne to the tag titles, and then
Freebird it.
I think Roxanne steps in. Maybe.
I think they have to. Otherwise, they're going to have to give them up, and then maybe they'll have them. Winner gets them at Evolution type thing. That'd be the only other thing I could think maybe they do. But I mean, that was the big rumor is they're going to have Nikki and Brie take those two, Raquel and Liv on. And yeah, obviously that's out the door, but they could still do it if they had Roxanne do it. And maybe Roxanne does her thing for a while. And then when Liv eventually comes back, she's like, you took my spot, you're backstabbing me, all this stuff. And I mean, they could have a good feud there. So I don't know. There's a lot, but it's going to be a while, it sounds like, since for her before she's going to be back. So
I know. Terrible.
Yeah. And which is, if you think, like you said, it makes almost perfect sense to just slot Roxanne into all of Liv's spots. I wonder if that means Dirty Dom is going to get a new romantic interest, but all that, just slide her in. She takes it over. She's part of the Judgment Day, Freebird titles. Do that, and it would make. Hi, buddy. Oh, somebody has.
Do we have a run-in?
Yeah, I'm gonna say hi really quick. You brought the new kitty.
Oh, all right.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, a new kitty. All right.
Yeah, what's the kitty's name?
Nugget. Is the name Nugget?
Oh, it's not.
It's not. That's not.
It's his nickname. All right. Okay. You crazy man.
Tell that kid to scream.
Hey,
he knows what time it is. He knows where he's supposed to be. It ain't down there.
Right. Oh, he had to show. He must show that cat.
I know the cat looked cute as hell. It's an orange cat.
Yeah, got an orange cat, and we got a black cat with the tuxedo. Tyler, around these parts, the phrase "happy wife, happy life" seems true. She wanted a new kitten. She brought home 2.
Of course.
Now we have 4 cats. But again, you don't tell Mrs. Pluggo no, because she looks the way she does, and I look the way that I do. So
fair enough.
If that's what she wants.
I respect
it. She wants.
There you go. I respect it. I respect.
But she's they're cute and all. They still haven't quite warmed up to me yet. They're like, I don't know about this guy, but they're cool with the kids.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. Anyway, before we were interrupted by Mr. Owen.
No, it's all right.
I guess one thing one quick thing on this whole thing though is with Liv gone now, that was kind of a dynamic with Finn too. Because her and Finn were not getting along, and now you take her out of there, because that was, Finn was leaving. They're gonna split Finn off, but now how do you do that sooner? Do you not split them off, or what do you do?
Yeah,
so it kind of messes with that too.
I think it meant
so much.
I was gonna say she was so integral in all of this stuff. Is there a way that we keep her on? I know she's injured, so she can't wrestle, but keep her in the fold somehow. I don't know how they would want to do that. They don't generally do that when people get injured. They do write them off and let them go and recover. She needs surgery and everything.
She needs surgery, so she's gonna have to be out for
a little bit. Yeah.
Maybe if it's one of those things where she comes back maybe a few months before she's cleared to wrestle and is just kind of hanging around because she's not in a sling, something like that. Yeah. Maybe you could do that, because obviously I feel like her character work, she is one of the people that could do that.
I feel like we're gonna see, but I feel like Monday we're gonna have, it's gonna be a whole new vibe, and that show is gonna be a lot of tying up some of these loose ends.
They're gonna have to.
I think so too.
Yeah, because Revolution is 3 weeks away. 3 weeks away. Two
July
and a half weeks away.
13th. Yeah. The
So
day after All In.
Exactly. Yeah. That weekend. It's going to be a time.
Yeah.
But
I still don't know how to navigate those weekends. Like,
well, you're going to have to learn because it's going to be happening apparently more often than not now.
What was the last one they did? Oh, Battleground and Double or Nothing. And I was just having a hell of a time trying to.
Yeah, but this is all day though. That's Saturday the 12th.
Yeah.
You have All In the NXT show at the same time. Then that goes right into Saturday, and All In will probably bleed into I would assume if I'm
Saturday,
AEW, I'm focusing on my show, but I am trying to line up that my main event of All In, especially obviously Hangman and Moxley, that's starting right at the beginning of Saturday Night's Main.
It's got to.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you have all that, and then I'm glad Revolution has its own day. I'm glad that has its own day, and there's not really anything else besides that. But that Saturday, it's like, man, we're going to be setting up. I'm on the East Coast. Yeah, we're going to be setting up at 1 or 2 in the afternoon, and we ain't leaving until 1 or 2 at night, maybe.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Or like until 10 or 11. It's gonna be late. It's gonna be a long one. Again, not complaining about watching a ton of good wrestling, but still.
Yeah. And then
I like to focus on one show.
Well, and then focus
on one show at a time.
For guys like myself and Tyler, who watches some indies, if there's any indies going too, then you're just your whole day, you're done. Your weekend is done. I don't know if there's any big indie shows happening around All In, but there might be. But yeah, it's just one of these crazy things. That how do you feel about that, Tyler? As like we've talked about it on this show a few times about the not counter programming AEW, but obviously it's pretty clear they are trying to counter program AEW. Do you think it's a good thing for the business, bad thing for the business? What's your vibe on it?
I kind of made a video about this. In a way, I think for a lot of fans, I mean, the fans that watch both the WWE product and AEW, that's the problem. But I feel like there's so many people that don't watch NXT that are WWE fans, B, don't watch AEW that are WWE fans, and maybe the AEW fans might watch some NXT, but they might not watch SmackDown and Raw. I know a lot of people that don't watch SmackDown and Raw, but they'll watch NXT. But I feel like it's the biggest problem is for us that watch everything, and I don't know if it's necessarily good as far as counter programming, because like you said, I'd rather just enjoy one show at a time, take out All In, and not have to focus on jumping back and forth or waiting and not getting spoiled, because I've done that before. And then I'm like, oh well, now I don't really want to even watch this. I mean, or I'll watch the clips. I mean, so I get it. I don't think that's a good thing. I would rather, like I said, I'd rather have them at separate times. And like I said, I think for a lot of people, especially the WWE crowd, it doesn't really affect a lot of people because they don't watch it. There's so many people that don't watch AEW, and it's a shame that so many don't watch NXT. It's crazy how many WWE fans don't watch NXT, because in my opinion, NXT is their best show.
Thank you for saying that. Thank you for saying that. I've been saying this for a long time. It is consistently their best weekly television show. Consistently.
I mean, they have a few stinkers here and there, but for the most part, it's always good. There's always something fun going on. And honestly, I'm a big supporter and proponent of women's wrestling, and that women's division is insane. I mean, it's just been so good for so many years. I mean, in the match, it's just so much fun.
Yeah,
I just love it.
They have a great division down there. Tuesday night was a great showcase for that. Even losing Stephanie and Roxanne and Julia to the main roster, they still figured out a way to make these women in that division look like stars. And I was thinking about it the other day. Like you said, it is a shame that more WWE fans don't watch NXT, because what they've done is they've brought up like Roxanne, and they haven't really kind of explained a lot about her to the main roster. So they just assume that they've watched NXT, because that's doing a disservice once they get to the main roster. So I see some of them kind of middle in the ground, but I really hope and hopefully this comes because, like we just talked about, Liv being injured, which is unfortunate, but maybe this is a good opportunity for them to really showcase a lot more about Roxanne, because she's going to be taking, I would assume, a lot of the roles from Liv. But Yeah, dude, NXT. It's crazy how good that show was on Tuesday, and like they constantly figure out a way to go. You know what? We just lost these 5. Here's 5 more. Yep. I don't know how they do it. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Thoughts on Blake Monroe? I saw she has a new soap out.
Is that true?
Yeah. So
Tyler knows what I'm talking about.
I have been a Mariah May fan since before she was in AEW. I've been touting her. She was in Japan. I've loved that lady. And then she did the AEW thing. I've been all about her. And then, of course, she in her first introductory video, she was in the bathtub. So I'm like, let's do some Sabrina Carpenter action here, because her video was kind of Sabrina Carpenter.
Oh, very much so.
I Dream of Jeannie, that type of throwback stuff. So then, of course, and I got a lot of people got me crap because I use some AI stuff. I'm not gonna lie, because I suck at drawing. So I basically made an AI Sabrina or Blake Monroe soap like Sabrina Carpenter's, and
God.
she retweeted it and shared it in her stories on Instagram and all the
those
stuff.
that don't know, Sydney Sweeney partnered up with a soap company to sell her bathwater.
Yeah,
and her bathwater is in the soap. So
it's in the soap.
And supposedly after I posted this picture on Twitter, Blake Monroe was like, "Well, I tried to pitch that to them, doing the same thing." After she saw my mock-up of all that, and I thought that was kind of cool. And then she shared that, and then she shared it again in her IG like photo dump for the week of different things going on, and that was kind of cool. But,
that's cool.
And then a couple different news sources ran with it. Some tagged me, some didn't, but it was still cool.
We've been there, and they tag everybody, tag your people. And Spencer says to tune into his interview with Mariah May from April 2021. So, did you think overall, since you've been a big Mariah, did you think it was the right move for her to go to NXT? I know I don't care where wrestlers go. Like I'm a proponent of wherever you want to go, I support you. That's your decision. I'm not going to be the guy that says you shouldn't have left. I did, however, feel like there was still some more that she could have done in AEW, and I thought Tony Khan should have really tried to push harder to keep her. But obviously she's there. It looks like they're going to roll out all of the red carpet for her to succeed in NXT. But what did you think?
I think a lot of it was, that's like she said multiple times, that's her dream, is to be in WWE. And I think there are some things that she still needed to work on. I know a lot of people are like, oh, they should have put her on the main. I'm like, NXT is a great place to be. Plus, like we said, that women's division is so strong. Adding another strong component to that and letting her fine-tune things before she goes up is the perfect thing for her. So yeah, I'm excited she went to NXT. I was actually really happy she went to NXT because I was a little worried she'd go to Raw or SmackDown, and then what happens is we don't see her for a few weeks or something, and I mean she's on there for a while and then she disappears or something weird happens. I don't know, but I think she needs to kind of develop her own little WWE character and do all that, and hopefully that can carry strongly into the main roster when they do decide to bring her up to Raw or SmackDown. But no, I'm a huge fan, and she's good in the ring, good in the mic, can do it all. And I did get to meet her this year, so that was cool. I saw her at Squared Circle Expo. So
heck yeah, she's gonna be a massive star in WWE. And we saw her on Tuesday that during her contract signing, her and JC Jane, and they put her through a table. So she's clearly going for the main title immediately upon arrival. She should win it at what do you call it? Evolution. If you think if I was booking it, that's what I would do.
Well, she's not right now. That's how I'm.
That's going to be the winner of these matches, right?
Yeah. So the fatal 4-ways. It's Lash. It's
Sorry,
not sorry. Shoot, I should just look it up. I have notes.
I can't think of
it. You got the note. I said I should just look it up so I don't forget. But that Tuesday they had the 4 matches to do.
That's
Jordan
right.
Grace is in there. Lash Legend. Tatum Paxley costs Zarya. I can't remember who she's wrestling. I'm drawing a blank.
Yeah.
But either way, so yeah, I'm trying to figure out how they get there. Maybe Mariah May calls winner between JC and I would assume Jordan Grace would be my pick next week to challenge him. You could do a lot worse than Jordan Grace versus Mariah May.
It's Jada Parker, Lash Legend, Izzy Jame, and Jordan Grace.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I watched the show. I'm My memory is getting crazy in my old age. Yeah, I think she's great. And I, like you said, I used to think this in the same way of like put them on the main roster, but then I kind of realized right now the main rosters, women's divisions, have a lot going on themselves. So if you put Mariah May on Raw, what would you do with her? You could find something for her to do, but I mean, the IC title is pretty much locked up right now with Bayley, Becky, Lyra. The world title pictures, you got Ia, you got Rhea in the mix, you got a whole bunch of things. So you'd kind of have to put her into that. And then SmackDown's pretty locked up right now. Jade, Naomi, Bianca, all that stuff's going on. So yeah, I think this is a good spot. You get people familiar with her for 6 months. You kind of refine a little bit of her, of what she did in AEW, and kind of add to it here with the Blake Monroe stuff and really put Blake Monroe on the map. And then when it's time, they'll call her up. They've shown that they are willing to call you up much quicker nowadays in NXT than they were in the past. A lot of these talents aren't making 2, 3, 4, 5 year stops now. It's, hey, you're ready to go. We're taking you because we feel like we can make money with you on the main.
Yep. I agree.
Yeah, I do too. And I think that's what NXT was always supposed to be. And now that you have Triple H running it and Sean down there, they have a system that, let's get them used to how we shoot things, like how WWE does things. And once they're good to go, we know the quality of talent. Like, let's get them up here. We're not going to wait around. Yeah. I personally think that if it wasn't kind of WrestleMania season right away, that some of them might have went right to the main roster. I think that, like a Ricky Saints, I think about a few of them. If they didn't come when WrestleMania is kind of already laid out, I think, and now, there was a report today that came out and said that Ricky Saints and Ethan Page have been discussed as people to potentially join Seth's group that there with, which they were, enemies down in NXT, both of them, but it'd be pretty crazy to see them on the same side if they were to do that. What do you guys think? Obviously, Tyler, I'll let you go first. What do you think when you hear those two names about them adding even more people to the Seth stable he's got going on?
I don't know if I'd want both of them, but as much as I'll say this, I love both those guys. I think I'd rather have Ricky with them. Just because I feel like Ethan is such a strong character on his own as a heel. I don't know. He kind of get over. I mean, he could technically overshadow Seth if he really wanted to, in my opinion, because he's just that good. But if you put him with Seth, he might not get to show what he can actually do. And I think Ricky would be a better add-on piece than doing Ethan. But I mean, I'd prefer one over both if it was me. And I agree, like you said, if it wasn't Mania season, I think either one of those guys could have been on the main roster. And we're kind of they're still talking, we're going to have a draft still and going to have a big reset of everything. So there's a lot of crazy stuff that could happen in the next couple months yet.
Yeah, for sure.
I did not see that report. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to figure out, what you would do if now that you mentioned that, what would you do with those two if you added them to that mix? Or is there some kind of like, are we just adding people to Seth stable to keep him? Are they going to win championships too? And we're going to have like hold all the gold situation and hold all the power, and because Seth can't hold it all. I don't know, but that would be interesting. I kind of like the idea of either one of those guys could go toe to toe with Seth on the mic, and they might get overshadowed. And I kind of like the idea of like Ethan joining the group and Ricky kind of continuing this. Like, I'm coming. Why did you come up here? And I'd kind of like to see Ricky mix it up with Seth and Ethan in that group scenario, like me versus I'll take all you. Yeah, because I don't know. That's interesting. I didn't see that report, but that would be kind of cool. I don't know. They'll figure it out. I've learned that like with Seth Rollins, when we think it's something crazy, he'll figure it out. Because every time Seth has changed himself even a little bit, you kind of do this thing like, that's different, and then he figures out how to keep you invested in it. So.
Yep.
Yeah.
What about that other report that I saw that what about Britt Baker coming to the WWE?
I feel like it'll happen.
Yeah. I mean,
she's obviously not happy with AEW because she hasn't been doing anything.
Yeah. She literally hasn't been on the show in a long time. She came back and had 2 matches?
She came back at All In last year?
Yeah. So she was out for a while. came back. I think she had 2 matches, and then we haven't seen her since. And it's been a long time. It's been, we're approaching, I think, like a year or so. Like, it's been a while. And it's like, I can imagine that she wants to work. I don't know what happened, or because she was the darling of that company for the first 1.5 to 2 years it was in its existence. And now, again, I'm not there. I don't know what happened, but it seems like it will definitely happen of her going to WWE if and when she does leave AEW, because it feels like, again, we haven't heard as much dirt about this as we've heard about other situations that have happened there. But it feels like we shouldn't be expecting to see her on AEW television anytime soon. Like, we don't hear really anything about her up until this report. Really, it's been really quiet on the Britt Baker front.
I didn't do my due diligence in this. I should have texted our correspondent for the Britt Baker news, but she's big time in us, or she's retired right now. She was on Fightful this week.
I saw
Kimmy, we saw you. But she'd be an interesting, and that's another thing. Like, maybe that's why the WWE is like, hey, you know what? Britt Baker's coming. We could make something out of her. We got Mariah May. Like, we can do something with this. So
that
could be an interesting thing.
Yeah, really good. And then on Raw, okay, so we have the King and Queen of the Rings going on currently as well. We saw Asuka make her return on Monday, which was awesome. Had the old theme as well. Oh, tremendous. Tremendous. And she actually won that match. I thought it was going to be Stephanie. I thought it was going to be Stephanie at first. But the way that everything worked out and how the match was, it was a great match. And Asuka winning, I like it. I like Asuka coming back and going right to the semis like that. So we got that locked up and things like that. But I wanted to talk about the men's side for a little bit, because it's all of Cody's boys. The 4 that are remaining are all like Cody and his boys.
Yeah.
And I think that is intriguing to me, because it's literally him, Jay, Sammy, and Randy. Those are his boys, man. And that's the semifinals.
Is Cody winning this thing?
It's got to be Cody and Randy in the finals, right? This is what we're doing.
You gotta think so. Yeah, you gotta think so.
Man,
I was shocked Jay won. Actually, the other night, I was like,
I was too.
All night long. I was saying, there's no way they're gonna let Jay win. Why would you have Jay win?
And they burnt the mystery opponent thing, like, or the like, and then Jay's winning it, and it makes sense. But somebody's got to. Is there a potential that Cody could get upset here? It feels like too on the nose that it would be Cody winning the thing and go, but then again, it is Cody, so it's not like I'm on some limb here if I pick him.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to figure out how they do it, because it's all faces.
Yeah.
Randy's not really a heel. He can heel as shit, but he's not a heel right now. They're all baby face people, and I know Cena's the bad guy champion, so it's face versus heel stuff. But at the same time, throw me somebody in there that like has some kind of animosity towards one another. Right now, they're all like, "We're cool. We're just gonna have which is fine, but give me some kind of heat."
One weird thing that's kind of in the back of my mind, and if we're gonna see them wrestle coming up, is Karrion and Sammy.
Mm-hmm.
And what if Karrion finally gets to Sammy and Sammy wins, he beats Randy illegally, and then goes on to win King of the Ring, and then he's heel. I mean, he's a heel. He does his heel turn basically against Randy. Mm-hmm. That would be one intriguing way to put King of the Ring on him, I guess, and not have Cody win.
Yeah,
but otherwise, I don't see how Cody doesn't win if that doesn't happen.
Yeah, and it's like so to me. I think it's and we have Spencer, the boss man, in the chat saying that Karrion and Sammy should have been the finals of the King of the Ring.
Karrion and Cross should be. They're not putting him in any of these matches. I don't know why. They just
for me. And again, I feel like this is the second time I've had to say this. Like, I'm not anti-Jay, but that was a major letdown when they announced that he was the surprise.
I felt the same way.
It's a major letdown. And again, not saying it's not deserved. Clearly, he deserves it. But to me, like Karrion Kross, if he's healthy, Ilya Dragunov, like I just was expecting
or at least
more.
Hold out closer to the day of the show. They like burnt that on like a Saturday or something.
Saturday afternoon.
Yeah. They're just like, oh yeah, it's Jay.
I don't know.
But the thing I really hated about it also is, I mean, they were still playing the injured ribs and all that. I'm like, he should not be in this match wrestling. He should be resting and healing and so he can get back. And I don't know. The other thing is, for me, with King of the Ring's always been, that's the next big up and comer, wins King of the Ring or is in the King of the Ring. It's not the top guys, which they did with Gunther already winning it. And then I don't know. I hate I like how they used to do it the old format as far as having new people, fresh faces win it because that propels them.
Yeah.
And now we're putting Cody Rhodes in there and Jey Uso and all these guys who have been champions recently, even Randy. I mean, I'd like to see Randy win another title, but yeah, it just I don't know. I would have really had Ilya Dragunov or somebody in there.
Yeah.
That would have been kind of
cool. That would have been dope.
Or Karrion. Yeah.
Or like the year that they had Baron Corbin win it, at least they like showcased, hey, he made a run. Like he's not an up and comer, but look what like this surprise run going on. Yeah, it just feels like they're doing it because they put that stipulation that you get a title shot at SummerSlam. So now it's got to be a top person because you're like, I got to build SummerSlam as the number 2 pay-per-view, which is I think is another disservice because then it immediately takes some good storyline options off the table.
And that's why I got this weird feeling. Like Cody obviously makes sense, but if Sammy turns heel and Sammy gets his title shot and Sammy wins his title finally because he's been so close so many times, but he wins it because he turns heel and is a heel, and he got Karrion with him. And I mean, they somehow become like a faction of some sort. I don't know. I think Sammy going bad, winning a title, is a story in itself. So that's why I kind of think that could go that way. I don't know. We'll see if they do that or not.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
Cody's definitely the favorite.
I was going to say Cody has to be the massive favorite, and then that would get because and a whole part of this to me is, at least in my brain, I was like, oh, they're going to do Cena and Punk at SummerSlam. That is a built-in night 2 main. Sorry, Lou. Every time I start talking loud, my cat's like, I'm out of here. See you later. But like that's a built-in night 2 end of the weekend show main event at SummerSlam. But now they're doing it in Saudi. So now, really, are they going to run it back at SummerSlam, or because they're not going to? Because if you win the King of the Ring, so it's gonna. That makes you think Cody is going to get his rematch with Cena at SummerSlam.
You would think. Yeah.
Because that's the most logical thing to do. Maybe you know what I want to happen is I want CM Punk.
You're like,
because I wanted to make sure Lou was listening. I want CM Punk to beat John Cena at Saudi, and I want Seth to cash in on CM Punk.
I'd be for that.
That's what I want. And then you have Punk chasing Seth, who he's hated for 2 freaking years for the top. And I think that is boom. Like that you could do that. And then that would be cool to me. But obviously I think Cena is probably going to hold it for a bit longer. I don't know if they would do that. That ideal. If I could have a perfect thing that's what I would want to happen.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah. But most likely we're just getting Cody and Cena again. Probably at some time, I would think. Which I'm not against. I like Cody. Where's the
Rock at? I need to figure it out. I was thinking about it today too. Where are you at, Dwayne?
I like the idea of Sammy turning. There was a promo right after Jay won the title, and they did that. I don't know. It wasn't the first promo, but they did an early promo where Sammy came out and he kind of put him over. And at one point in the promo, Jay was in the corner celebrating, and Sammy kind of stopped and was staring at him. And I think we were all like, holy crap, is he going to turn on Jey Uso for like 5 or 10 seconds? We all thought that. I don't know how you would have Jay beat Cody unless they just do it straight up. But I could see Sammy turning on Jay in the finals to win the King of the Ring, maybe. I think that could be cool if they went that route.
And to top it off,
I can see that.
Karrion has been unsuccessful in all of his attempts to turn these people that he's talking to. And who better to make it finally stick than Sami Zayn, one of the most beloved wrestlers on the planet. So if you've got plans with Karrion Kross long term, this would be a good feather in his cap to have that happen.
Yeah, and I agree with Spencer. Spencer's like, I hate the idea of Sami turning. He's the most natural babyface in the company. I don't disagree. I've said this for a long time. Sami Zayn to me is this generation's like Mick Foley, how the fans feel about him. I feel like that's like that type of support for Sami. And personally, I'm a big Sami Zayn. I would have Sami Zayn win the Royal Rumble in Saudi and beat Seth at WrestleMania for the title next year. That if you were giving me like the long-term thing, but I don't know. Sami Zayn is going to win that world title soon, like you said, Tyler. I agree. It's been the whole story they've been telling, especially with him and Seth at the beginning. Like he looked him dead in the eye and said, "I will be a champion one day." And I think that was foreshadowing. He's going to beat Seth to become it. You know?
I think you're right.
Yeah, but I don't know. But what do we think about? All right, let me ask you, because obviously this is the first time we've got to chat. How do you feel about the John Cena experience since the heel turn and everything that's happened since WrestleMania? How are you vibing with that so far?
I think at first it was not good. I didn't like it. I thought it was horrible. In fact, honestly, that match at WrestleMania with Cody, I thought was horrible. And I understand that the psychology of the way he did it and why he did it that way, but I feel like the next match he had, which now I'm blanking on what that was.
Randy.
Him and Randy was perfect in my mind, except for there's ref crap at the end. I didn't really like the double ref bump, and then everybody coming out, but we can't count because we're not referees, but we're the officials and head of the SmackDown or whatever. Anyways, I've enjoyed it more since basically we got into the Randy feud on. I kind of like what Cena's doing. I feel like for a while there, he was kind of saying the same stuff, spinning the wheels, which he still is to a point, but I feel like it's progressed better now. And plus he's been getting interrupted and having issues with people, and him and Truth. I loved it. And I feel like we're going to get more of that yet. Obviously with Ron Killings he's still Truth now.
Tomorrow night they're
tomorrow night
on SmackDown for the title. How's that going to go?
Yep. I mean, Cena's going to win, obviously, but
imagine
I feel like even if whatever happens tomorrow night with that, I still feel like Truth's still going to have some sort of involvement as long as Cena's around at some point in time. Because, I mean, they can have brought him back just for this 1 week, like a 2-week little thing. I feel like, and if they're going to keep him around for a little bit, you got to keep him around when Cena's around, because him and Cena are basically tied together. So
just what an incredible thing that happened. With just R-Truth and him, and just all of it's just the fact that they brought him back and the fact that they're giving him the spot. And I agree with you. I don't think this is the last Cena R-Truth thing. And, I think it's going to continue, and whether it is just for a few months through SummerSlam or they did bring him back for a longer deal, like the fact that they brought him back and they let him do this immediate character shift and like are kind of, it feels like this is your last run. Like, what do you want to do? And R-Truth said, I have an idea. And they said, let's do it, man.
And I'm sure Cena was like, let's go.
Yeah, I'm sure I feels like everybody's in on it. Everyone's bought in on it. And man, I'm glad it went the way that it went, because I think that day when we heard that news, we all kind of felt real sour about it. And I thought that.
Did you cry, Tyler? I cried. I got emotional.
I might have shed a tear or two.
I got emotional.
I was
shocked. It would never happen, but if he were to beat Cena, that would just be what a time. What a time.
If he beats John Cena tomorrow night,
Seth will cash in.
Oh my God.
That's going to have to happen if that happens.
Yeah. But that would be the most insane thing of all time.
Because that's the thing too, and maybe Tyler, I'll get your prediction on it. When do you see Cena losing the belt, if at all? Like, maybe he rides off into the sunset like he said this whole time, and he he finishes up 2025 and he goes, I'm leaving. Is that where do you think it ends?
I've been so torn on this because I kind of feel like in one way I could see him doing the whole I'm going to retire with the belt type thing. But at the same time, you got to have Cena come back to being a baby before it's all said and done. I would think. Because the fans, the kids, everybody involved is like, I feel like something has to happen before the end of the year. Maybe Survivor Series or somewhere in there where Cena is going to, I think he'll lose the title by Survivor Series. Let me put it that way. And then something has to happen in that last month or two. And that brings him back to being Super Cena, Hero Cena, whatever you want to call him, and Babyface Cena, and go out like that. That's just what I think in my head. So I don't know. I can't see him not going out as a heel because that just would be, I don't know. It just seems wrong.
Yeah. even as a non-Cena guy, like it just feels weird that we would end his career like this. And I also I think that's part of the reason that maybe they didn't change the merch, right? Because then at the end of the day, you have the traditional John Cena shirts the last time, and you could say, "Yep, I was there for that title run," and he went out, and we all cheered at whatever the last show of the year will be that he's at, and we'll thank him. But it would be weird to do that on his way out as this heel that he is now.
One scenario that I kind of thought of in my head was, at some point in time, we're going to have The Rock is going to come back.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like if he loses the title, The Rock comes back and basically says, you failed me because I gave you the keys of the kingdom and you pretty much, I thought you would go out, finish this and finish our deal basically. And then he fails him and someone, I don't know, Rock has some people attack him or something, take him out. And then maybe he goes away for like a few weeks and then he comes back and he realizes what he's done, or we have this awesome video package explaining why he's coming back to being the good guy again or something. I don't know. I think there's so many questions with the whole Rock thing that we have never had answered that we need to have answered before this is done too, because it's the biggest hole in the story right now. And I think hopefully that comes back around and maybe fixes the story.
It's not like The Rock to leave us hanging like this. Like, you did the biggest heel turn in history, and you've just been like, that was good enough.
See you later. Here's Travis Scott.
Yeah.
It's been again, I agree with you. I that match with Cody at Mania was just dreadful. It was so bad.
It was.
It was just brutal.
But it was designed that way, you guys.
Yeah, man, they trying to ruin
Tyler and JPJ. Come on, man. You guys not even watch the shows?
Yeah.
That's all I heard. And I'm like, yeah, but if I still didn't enjoy it, then it wasn't good. It didn't like it. Like, sure, if that was how it was designed to be, so be it. But I didn't like it. I love How I Met Your Mother. It's my favorite show, but I didn't like the way it ended. Doesn't mean that's how they wrote it, but it doesn't. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Relax, people.
I mean, they showed us. They showed us like a month later. You can do the same type of thing, but make it enjoyable, like they did with Randy.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly. What they're doing with R-Truth in him now, and Punk in him now. Like, it's everything they've been doing really since he won the title. Yeah, it's staying a lot. He's winning the matches the same way by the title shot over the head. He's doing that shtick, but it's at least, that tag match that we saw that to end the pay-per-view last month. That was the last 10 minutes of that tag match that was good stuff. That was fun, exciting, entertaining stuff. But it's just the people that have allowed themselves to believe that, like, that's how it's supposed. Like, oh yes, no, you weren't supposed to enjoy that. No, that's not how that goes.
I think they were trying to tell themselves in the moment, and I think they realized we screwed up.
Yeah,
because they haven't done it since, and they've changed it, and everything's been way better.
Yeah, I agree. Spencer
wants to know: do we think Cena wrestles beyond 2025? He thinks he does. Like, is the Royal Rumble's right there? Does he? If he holds the gold?
Me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, never say never in the wrestling business.
That is true. That is true. It does feel like he is going to stick. At least the way he's speaking about it, it does feel like.
I think he'll be done this year. We might not see him next year, but we could see him. I think we'll see him again in a few years or something.
Yeah, I think
He'll
it could be
show up
one
for
of those
something.
things. Yeah, I think it could be one of those things.
He's still got to win that Intercontinental Championship somehow.
I know.
It's still out there on the table. Yeah, and he's still got to finish that storyline with Nikki Bella where they got engaged and it didn't happen.
There we go. Evolution.
There it is. Nikki Bella needs something. Yeah, like what?
Isn't that crazy? She's back. He's on his way out.
Maybe he can have his title match at Evolution, and she can cost him the title.
Oh, that would be Mrs. Pluggo would lose her mind. She's a big Nikki. She's a Bella Twin stan. Austin Shepard's in the house. Says the champ is here. What's up? Anthony's in the house. What's up, Anthony? Dustin's long-term booking. Yeah, there's a lot of things that they could do to end this Cena title run, but at the end of the day, I don't know what they do. Which I kind of do enjoy that. It's not predictable, but it's also like
I just thought
so many options.
I just thought CM Punk would beat him at SummerSlam. And that would be that. I was like, I think Punk is one of the guys that can beat Cena for the title, just kind of straight up. I guess they can do it in Saudi. But, yeah, I just thought that would be, that's a big SummerSlam match. You get the last Punk and Cena. Punk can beat him and then kind of go over here, and Cena can
Are you surprised that Punk's wrestling in Saudi, Tyler?
I am.
I am, too.
Obviously, after what he said, I mean, what he tweeted and all that. I mean, I'm shocked, but I don't know.
Never
Definitely not a good
never.
look. You can't. You say stuff like that, and then it doesn't go away. And yeah, I don't know. It's definitely a moral conflict.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah. I know I just said this about Cena, but if there was ever a guy that you would think would stick to his morals, stick to who he is and all that, it would be CM Punk.
Yeah.
Like usually, I know they had the brutal Hell in a Cell match, but he took a month off after that, and it was because they were going to Saudi, and he was like, I'm not going to that show. Well, that was at the end of last, so it's not that far away from where we are now, and obviously there was some sort of agreement that he, obviously, let's not kid around. They showed him a number that was good enough to make him go, all right, yeah, okay, I'll head down there this time. And
I'd say the number, and maybe something that has to happen storyline wise too, that had to happen at Saudi.
Yeah,
like maybe he does beat Cena, and maybe Seth does cash in on him.
Yeah,
that'd be the only two things between money and we need you to do this, because if you don't do this, it's going to screw everything up.
Yeah, and it could have been. Maybe they went to him and they said, hey, we obviously have to have you and Cena one last time. And with our storylines with John, the way we have it, we're not just saying this is the only time we can do it.
Otherwise, we're going to have to do something else.
Yeah, and maybe Punk was just like, okay,
Yeah.
So, and Spencer makes a good point, but Sami Zayn, KO, Daniel Bryan, they all had similar opinions at one point, and they all at one point or another made their way down there too. So it's not like he is the first person to kind of go that route. It's just I do feel like, I don't know. It does make you feel a certain way. It does. But at the same time, I'm not complaining about getting CM Punk and John Cena.
I agree.
And I hope Punk, I would love to see Punk beat him. I would love to see Punk beat him.
I'm going to hope, and I'm going to pray, and I'm going to, every night, I'm going to be like, please make this happen. Please make this happen.
I would like to see it. But you talk about when Cena could lose the title. I feel like right now, as constituted, there are very few people that would be the ones that would beat him for that title. And I feel like Punk is one of those guys. Cody obviously is one of those guys. And then maybe Seth. I feel like those might be the only three.
Those are probably the only three.
Right?
We are a few short weeks away from a world where John Cena and Bill Goldberg are world champions.
Imagine. In 2025. Imagine that.
Let that sink in for a hot second, that is a real possibility.
Yeah.
Because even if Goldberg wins it, and then gets cashed in on, he still won it. So there'll be a split second of time where that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
What is the world coming to? What is going on here? Please don't let that happen. But if it does, I'm just sitting here like, what is wrestling in 2025? Because I've been on the stance that like I'm not taking too much stock into what happens in WWE because this is the Cena retirement tour. It is kind of throwing traditional things that they probably would be doing out the window a little bit to facilitate this particular storyline. But man, what a wild day that'll be if that happens at Saturday Night's Main Event.
Let's all hope it doesn't. No, but we have Anthony in the chat saying that he was listening to Busted Open, and they said that the only logical person to dethrone Cena is Ron Killings. So they think that Ron Killings, R-Truth, is storyline-wise right now the only logical person to do it, with obviously the story they're telling. But
wouldn't that be wild?
That would be insane.
It'd be wild. It would be wild.
That would be an insane time. But again,
Ron Killings could win it. Seth cashes in.
Has to. I think
that's another one of those. Seth has to cash in.
Yeah. And then you could, because I feel like if you do that, then Seth. See, the thing is,
people hate him. People hate him even more than they hate him now.
100%.
I mean,
100%.
He just beat our hero.
That's heat. That's a lot of heat. Yeah.
Yes. 100%.
Listen, I happily will live in a world where Ron Killings has won a world title, even if it is for 5 minutes. And Seth Cat, I would be ecstatic because it would be one of those things where it goes, you know what, we appreciate everything you've done, and if you are on your way out for real, here's your crowning moment, and you at least get recognized as a world champion in a company that you gave 20 plus years to. So I think that'd be awesome. But then Seth coming in with Bronson and Braun Breaker just ruining it. Yeah, we'd be like, fuck that guy.
Oh yeah. Oh
100%,
yeah.
100%. Will they do it though? I don't think so.
No.
I'd be shocked, but
no.
I mean, hey, sometimes you got to go on a limb. Maybe that's the limb you go on. And then Cena could snap out of this fog that he's in, and for the rest of his time be chasing after Seth, trying to get from the hierarchy that is this new group.
Yeah,
you could do that, I guess, and that's how you get him back in the good graces with all the people. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
They got a lot more questions than they got answers right now.
There's a lot of questions.
And they only have like 75, 85 more PLEs for the rest of 2025 to figure it out.
Yeah.
It feels like every 2.5, 3 weeks, it feels like that's the role they're on. I'll tell you what, when you're talking about the Queen of the Ring tournament, when I look at the semifinalists, so we have Roxanne Perez versus Jade Cargill, and then we have Alexa Bliss and Asuka on the other side.
Shout out to Dan Brown. Welcome to the chat, buddy.
Oh, what's going on, Dan? How are you?
Friend of the show. Love you.
I thought we were maybe going towards a Jade Cargill Charlotte Flair final. I thought maybe where we were going. But obviously with Alexa winning that one, we're not going there. When I look at these
finals, I have a feeling Charlotte's going to figure out a way to get this match.
How?
The finish. She's going to say that she had her tapped out.
Yeah, Lou, you got to make up your mind here, bud.
She's going to go. Charlotte Flair's name carries a little bit of weight, right? And it was a very close. She got the pin. Alexa had the pin. Charlotte had Alba tap out. It was real close. She might go, hey, listen here, Nick Aldis. I want that match. And I don't know. Maybe she'll go Alexa Bliss and do a rematch or something. I don't know.
Yeah, Spencer in all caps. It's Charlotte Flair.
Flair. Man.
It's Charlotte. That's why.
Charlotte's going to go, that doesn't work for me, brother. And that'll do something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Look, Charlotte got to the main event of WrestleMania. She can get to the Queen of Ring. Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, I guess so. I agree with Dustin, though. He says Asuka winning the Queen of the Ring and facing Io would be great. That would be fun. That would be a lot of fun. I would very much be into that. I'm glad Asuka's back. I'm glad she's healthy. And I don't want them I don't want Asuka to be the Asuka that we saw for like the last year before she got hurt and went away. Like I want Asuka, you know, and her winning this kind of coming back and just winning this and going right for a title. Not saying she wins the title, but her going for a title and being in the main event or one of the main events at SummerSlam. I would very much want that to happen. I would be very on that.
That's the best SummerSlam match in my opinion, between those two. I mean, Asuka and Io at SummerSlam, hell yeah.
Yeah. Right.
I'm all about it.
Because what are the so it'd be Jade and Tiffany, and then you'd always have the looming factor of Naomi cashing in would be the opposite. That's there. True. Alexa, I don't see Alexa challenging anybody right now, although she could be a thorn in the side of anybody. So yeah, Asuka makes a lot of sense. She comes back, you give her a really cool match with Io. That seems to be the front runner for me as it stands right now.
Mm-hmm.
Dustin asking, do you see Seth or Naomi cashing in first? Seth.
Seth, if I had to guess.
I think it's going to come sooner than later.
Yeah. I mean, I have Scott saying that he thinks Jade wins, beats Tiffany, and then Naomi cashes in on Jade right away.
That is a possibility.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that would be a strong possibility with the Jade situation. And then as Bianca is kind of back, then you have once Naomi gets that title, you have built in things with Jade, with Bianca, with all three of them in a triple threat if you want to do it. Like you could tell months and
that'd be your Mania match.
100%. 100%. So you have things that you can do there once Naomi does cash in, especially if it ends up being on someone like a Jade or Bianca or like somebody in that. That'd be a lot of fun. But I mean, a Roxanne Perez, Asuka final? Anybody complaining about that? That'd be wonderful.
It'd be fun.
Well, Liv Morgan might complain about it.
But unfortunately,
from her cat, she'd be like, "Damn it, this Roxanne just keeps getting all these spots." I was really waiting for that storyline to kick off with Roxanne and Liv. I thought that was going to.
I know.
That was even more exciting than the Liv and Nikki stuff for me. I was like, "Oh, this Roxanne trying to give Dom some chicken nuggets, man, chicken tendies."
Yeah.
Listen, I love a good chicken tender, and people if you want to give me a box of chicken nuggets or chicken tender, I will eat them
all the time.
I ain't gonna say no.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, I almost feel like when Liv comes back, she's a babyface.
Oh
like,
yeah,
right,
she'll be
right
she has
return.
to be a babyface,
right? Like right upon
people
return,
are gonna be so happy she's back. For one, I mean, it's gonna be like hell yeah, she's back. She's got to be a baby and going after probably Roxanne. I would think
exactly. So if you have Roxanne as a champion by the time that happens, maybe not a world champion, but a mid card champion, maybe a world champion, anything. And you have Liv come back and go right for like that is babyface Liv. The crowd will eat her up because the crowd loves her even as a heel. She's she gets that heat, but it's the respect heat. Like that's just a no brainer to me with Liv coming back. But she's good to go.
We haven't even talked about. I don't know how Tyler feels about it. We're big Bailey. She came back on Monday.
I love Bailey.
Bailey ruled, and she's going to mix it. It looks like her and Becky are going to mix it up a little bit here next week. Yeah, Monday for the title. And the interesting part about it is Lyra didn't seem overly excited for Bailey to be back either. So there's going to be some issues there, which I think will get a triple threat at SummerSlam. Maybe Evolution. That could be an Evolution match. I think you would do that. Yeah, what do you think about that? Whose side are you going? Becky was rocking the Bears gear, so are we Team Becky?
Yeah. No, I'm still Team Bailey. I'm Bailey all day, all long. I love Bailey.
Bailey, the 49ers fan?
Yeah, I'm from Iowa and George Kittle all the way. So
there you go. That's fair.
That's my boy. So I'm all about Bailey. So I think we're definitely going to get a triple threat between those three, like either at Evolution probably or SummerSlam. But yeah, I'm Team Bailey all day, all day, every day. So
yeah, I am there with you. She is.
I like how Shep said triple threats are lazy booking. Yet that's what the Kicking Out podcast does every Sunday night at 8:30. Triple threats, you lazy booking. I'm just kidding. Give us back our championship.
Look, but I think in this case it makes like we're getting in the 1-on-1 with Bailey and Becky on Monday. We're getting that. then I would assume at Evolution we will get the triple threat. And then I think at the end of this, I think Lyra ends up being the one that beats Becky for the title again and getting kind of because
I think she'll get it back.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that puts Lyra over even more than she's already kind of leveled up here in this feud. And then I think, listen, getting Bayley and Becky involved and them having a one-on-one match for the IC title on Monday, that elevates that belt so much because you have two of the goats. You have two of the goats fighting and wanting that title. And then if you have Lyra being the one at the end of this that kind of is the champion again, so they can probably, I would assume, like head towards world titles and things of that nature again. It's easy. It's easy.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah. And I like what they're doing with Becky and Lyra. Like you said, Pluggo, like Lyra didn't look happy. And I think I saw a quote, whether it was after Raw or something like that. Like they asked Bayley and she was like, well, I just didn't return Lyra's messages because this really has nothing to do with her. That's what Bayley said.
What is with injured wrestlers just not having it? Because you know when Liv comes back from her injury, she's gonna be like, "Why didn't Raquel? Why didn't you call or text me?" And Dom, why didn't you check in? It's always the go-to with the injured wrestlers. Like they don't communicate once they're out of the bubble. It's like
my cell phone got broken too, just like my body.
Yeah. I was busy. I was busy rehabbing so I could get back here for these fans. I didn't have to, or vice versa.
Put my phone on silent while I was rehabbing.
Wrestlers' phones just don't work when they're not in the buildings that they perform in, and it's wild. But and because Lyra said, what was up with that? And Bayley goes, I'm looking out for me. I was doing my thing, and then Lyra's like, I'm going to do the same thing. If you win that belt, I'm coming after you. So I really want to kind of see where those two go with the story because they were tag partners, and Becky came in and busted that up. So that's going to be a fun one. They got a lot of good things cooking in the WWE right now. I'm not going to lie. I think
for my money, the Becky Lyra stuff, and now with Bayley, like that's been my favorite part of Raw since it's really started. Like I think that every promo segment they've had, they've killed it. It's been entertaining. I feel like Becky is just at the top of her game right now. I feel like the fact that they let Lyra have a personality, she's really blossomed into the star that she's gonna be. She was always great in the ring. She's strong as hell, deceptively strong. But she's always been terrific in the ring, but she had no personality. We didn't know who she was. And it helps when you're going against somebody like Becky, don't get me wrong, but she has really, the second they gave her that mic, almost like they should have let her do it a bit earlier, right, Tyler?
Yeah, those promos leading into that match, she was killing Becky on the mic.
100%. And I think none of us thought, we didn't know that she had that in her because they really didn't give her that opportunity at all for a long time. I'm very excited about these three. I'm very excited about the match on Monday because I feel like it's been a long time since we've seen Bayley and Becky proper. I'm very excited about that. I'm excited about the potential triple threat. I've just dug this whole thing. I really like all three of these ladies. I thought it's been the best part of Raw for me. For the last little bit here. What else is going on in WWE land? Oh, God. Thinking about Raw. I know.
Whatever you want to talk about, man.
I know. I'm just trying to think. My brain is...
Pacers are up 45-33 in the second right now.
Yeah, Pluggo is an Indiana guy. He's an Indiana.
I'm not a Pacers guy, but
I like the Pacers. I'm cheering for the Pacers. Let me put it that way.
I'm too because I'm from Indiana, so it works out for me. But I'm a Rockets guy, so I don't want the Thunder.
No.
Well, you just signed your coach. Our former boy here, Ime, got a huge contract today.
I just hope we don't trade for Kevin Durant and lose what we got going on. I don't want to lose the core of this team for 38-year-old Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
But then again, I wouldn't complain. I'd be like, hey!
He is Kevin Durant.
He is Kevin Durant. So you're a Pacers guy? You're not a Bulls guy?
I honestly, NBA anymore, I'm not I don't really watch it a lot anymore. When I was young, I was all about Jordan and the Bulls. So, and then I kind of became a Spurs fan. Just I don't know why. I always liked Duncan. I liked Rodman and David Robinson. I was a big fan of them. So I kind of got into the Spurs. But other than that, I kind of just since it's all about shooting the long ball and not about beating crap out of people inside, I've kind of lost touch with that. But I've been watching more about. Well, I watch the WNBA more than I watch anything honestly anymore.
Yeah,
just because those ladies beat the crap out of each other and
they were getting some fights early in the
and,
week. There was some.
Yeah, well, yeah, but what's her name from Mabry from the Sun shoved out Caitlin Clark and everybody.
Caitlin and JC Shelton, for one, have always had a bad history.
Yeah.
Being an Iowa guy and being obviously I've watched that rivalry their whole time she was at Ohio State and Caitlin was at the Hawkeyes, and they've always got into something, it seems like. And then me bringing Mabry, who's absolutely nuts in my opinion. She has a rep for doing that stuff. But I'm so happy Sophie stepped up and got.
Did you see that she got fined today $400 for that?
I know, it's so stupid.
I'd be like, yep. I'll take. Yep. Protect Caitlin Clark. Done.
I just don't get how that league and their rules and their officiating and all that works, because the coaches were both telling them early on, like, you need to step in here and do something or we're going to have a fight at the end. And they had a fight at the end. And then it took them 25 minutes to sort out something that should have been, you two were in it, you three were in it, kick them out. There we go. That's all you got to do. It shouldn't have taken them 25 minutes to figure that out.
Yeah, and I don't
know.
I don't understand the league mentality. It's especially more amplified when it's with Caitlin Clark, obviously, because she's this budding star league. And I'm not saying that the league should bow to Caitlin Clark in the sense that, like, don't play her tough and stuff like that. But this overall vibe of, like, we can't stand her. Now, don't get me wrong. Caitlin runs her mouth quite a bit. So
she's all about it.
But her rookie year, I'm happy with the Fever's progression in the sense that her rookie year, even her teammates didn't really come to her defense when she was getting these hard fouls. This year, they're like, no, this is our, there's a whole new team mentality with her. We got your back. So I've loved that evolution of the Fever has happened.
Well, and I think that has a lot to do with her coach too. Because Stephanie White is a completely different person than, I can't remember last year's coach, but there was times I think last year's coach didn't even like Caitlin. It seemed like she wanted Caitlin to quit shooting threes, like her outside long threes, and like that's what she does.
Literally who she is.
Let her be her.
You gonna go tell Steph Curry to stop shooting threes?
Yeah,
exactly.
Go shoot these elbow jumpers from 18 feet out, Caitlin. Do that.
Yeah. No. Again, that was the thing, because oddly enough, Boston doesn't have a WNBA team. I thought that would be a city that easily would, but they don't.
They will eventually.
Yeah, we have the Connecticut Sun. They're not great, but like they're kind of close, but really not. I thought, but either way, like, so from watching it, like, I agree with you, Pluggo. You don't officiate her differently. You don't play her differently on the court, but you should also be aware that Caitlin Clark being in the WNBA is a good thing. She's bringing more eyeballs. She's bringing. You got a TV deal. You're selling out
money.
Yes, you're making way more money as a league now. And it's not just because of her, but she's it is. It is though. She has a lot to do with it.
I get it.
Just the hate from it felt like, especially last year, it felt like everybody in the league hated her, and I was just like, "What is good?" That is when LeBron came in at 8. Again, he didn't go to college, so you didn't have that like built-in years with him at that point. But like when LeBron came into the league at 18, everybody didn't hate LeBron. We all grew to hate LeBron.
Some of his Cavs teammates shit on him a little bit.
Fine, but you know what I mean. Like, it wasn't like because they knew, this is a young star. He's going to bring money and revenue and eyeballs and. It just felt very bizarre to me.
I get it.
Like you said, like you felt like there were times last year when her team hated her.
Didn't even like her.
I don't know why you would. She's out there scoring points, but she's also giving you 10 assists a game or more. I mean, she's feeding you the ball.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not like she's just being selfish.
Listen, I watch a lot more WNBA basketball because of Caitlin Clark. I dabble in it, I was before her as well, but you know, there was just a lot of times that her game was different. Like you could see it. Like even when she had 10 turnovers, some of the teammates like weren't in the right spots, and that could have been coaching. And like you got a coach this year that's going to build around her, and like the additions that they made for her, Deanna Bonner and all that, Sophie Cunningham. It's like we're going to build around this star that we have, opposed to last year. I felt like everybody was going against her. And sure, there's a ton of talented women in that league that deserve shine, but guess what? They're getting more shine now because you have a generational superstar in the league who's carrying the league. So Asia Wilson's going to benefit. Kelsey Plum is going to benefit. Scott, all of them. I just don't understand. I just don't understand the league going, oh, we can't stand this. This is ridiculous. What about all the people before her? It's like, yeah,
I don't know.
What about all the people before Magic and Bird that built the league, right? What about all the people before Michael Jordan? It's just this weird dynamic of like we're just bummed that I don't understand it. But the games are chippy. The games are fun. I'm even on the fence that you need Angel Reese just as much as you need Caitlin Clark to have these. You need these rivalries to get people engaged in these things, and you need to have. It's a good thing. It's a great thing for the league. I hate doing this comparison because I just hate doing the comparison, but the NBA was not going through a successful phase before they got Bird and Magic. And I don't think the quality of player are as they're two different types of player. Okay. So you're not going to get the same, but you have a potential rivalry adjacent to that with Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. So, like, the league should move in on that, but it just felt like everybody was like, "Screw Caitlin," Could you imagine?
Just like, I don't,
Could you imagine if the NFL was just like, "Oh, Brady and Manning, we're not going to show those games because what about all the quarterbacks before them?"
You know what I mean? The league did hate Tom Brady, though.
Right, but it's
for no reason.
Every sports league does this when they have a hot matchup. Like you see when the schedule drops for the NFL, like, oh, Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels. We got to get that on the schedule. Two rookies, or look at the Bears and Packers. Like it's primetime game. It's you move through the rivalries. You move towards the good stuff. The WNBA just is taking a little longer to do that.
Yeah, it's like they haven't quite figured that out yet, but hopefully they do, and they got to get better officials. I mean, they really do. I'm sorry, but I've watched a lot of the women's college game, and their officials are kind of questionable at times. But the WNBA officials are some of the worst officials I've ever seen reffing a sport. It's just like they'll be someone will be on the floor for a good 3 seconds, and they'll finally blow a whistle. Like, why aren't you blowing a whistle right away? Why aren't you making this call? Or why aren't you? There's like the things happen right in front of their faces, and they don't blow a whistle. It's just like, and then they'll blow a whistle on some ticky-tacky thing, and I'm just like, this is horrible. And and that's one thing that actually Caitlin and a couple other WNBA ladies have said is one nice thing is in college you can talk to the officials and they'll tell you this and that, and you can't talk to the WNBA officials. They act like you're not even there. If you've ever watched,
that's an NBA officials too these days.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but I mean, even then, you used to be able to do it in the NBA. You would be able to at least have some sort of word with them. But they just stare ahead like you're not even there, and I think it's frustrating to a lot of the players. Like you're making these calls, why? And you're not making these calls, why? But you're not going to let us know why. It's stupid.
I don't know enough about it to know the answer to this, but are they getting the same officiating? Is it the same officiating pool that you get from the NBA? Why can't you have the NBA officials? Do they just not do? Is it two separate?
They're separate. They are separate.
Because it's like there's only one series going on in the NBA right now. What are all those? I know it's a long season. It would be, but I'm sure some of them would be like, yeah, I'll do both. The game's not not vastly different from the NBA game.
No,
because you do.
Unfortunately, I think it would probably be like a financial. I'm sure the NBA officials make a lot more money than the WNBA officials, as the players do. There's not the the pay thing is not nearly, So I would think if you're an NBA official and you're getting paid a certain amount, are you going to go take a couple months and go do that and make? I think that would probably be.
Yeah.
I don't know. All I know is that I still cry about Jason Tatum 2 to 3 times a week. But other than that, that's really what I'm thinking.
I shouldn't laugh at your pain, but
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
But I can't.
I have a feeling your Bears are gonna have a better second year for Caleb Williams than I think my Patriots are gonna have for Drake.
I hope so.
I do think we're gonna be better, but I think you guys can legitimately make the playoffs this year. Legitimately.
I think so too.
Make the playoffs if things go the way they should or things go right.
As long as we, knock on wood, can not have any major injuries or anything crazy, I think that's definitely in the realm of possibility.
Yeah. I think as far as the Patriots go, I don't know if you guys have even looked at their schedule, but holy crap. It might be the easiest schedule. No, it's the other way.
Oh, okay. It's the other way around.
Because they've been bad for so many years now.
Oh, okay.
That this is the year. This might be the easiest schedule they've had in my lifetime.
Really?
In my lifetime.
I suppose because they've been good.
Yeah. And they play all the worst teams. Now, again, year to year, things change and bad teams become good. So we don't know now. But looking at that schedule, they play legitimately all the shit of the league. All of it. And I'm just even if we're semi-coached better, we should have double the amount of wins that we had last year, which is still not great. It's 8, but still, it's just the schedule is insane. But I'm sure things will go
so happy
terribly.
I don't have to worry about that. I'm a Notre Dame guy, so I'm a college football.
What do you mean
guy.
You don't have to worry about that? You have to worry about that every time.
No, we're good. Yeah. We're good this year. Notre Dame's good this year.
But you're still lost.
Yeah, we still made the championship.
Yeah,
I just meant on Sundays. I could take a break on Sundays.
That's fair.
Worry about my Irish on Saturdays, man.
That's fair.
As you laugh, are we going to have beef?
No. My cousin's a huge Notre Dame fan, so.
Now, are you?
I get it.
You're an Iowa guy.
Are you Hawkeyes? You're Iowa.
I'm
are you
Hawkeyes
Hawkeyes through and through?
I'm a Hawkeye fan. Oh yeah.
Okay.
That's fair.
So
Screw Iowa State.
You always have a great
I'm not
defense.
one of those people.
No, you always have a great defense over there. You always have a great defense.
Yeah, it kind of let us down a little bit last year, but other than that, it's normally really good. Yeah.
Yeah.
How is the dynamic between the Hawkeyes and the Cyclones? Is it as heated as some of those other, Michigan State or Ohio, Michigan? It's not as bad as Ohio.
I wouldn't say it's not Ohio. It's not Ohio, Michigan State, because I feel like there's a lot of fans that are we cheer for both except for when they're playing each other, but then there's people like me. I don't cheer for Iowa State. I want Iowa State to lose every game they play. I'm Hawkeyes, black and gold, true as there is. So,
and that's what it's about, people.
I pick a side.
Yeah, pick a side. Stop standing in the middle.
Why do I feel like you're taking a shot at me right now?
Because I am. You know I love you, but this guy over here, he owns a hat of almost every sports team there is, and not to collect them, but and I go, pick a team, will you?
Yeah.
Pick a team.
Listen, man.
It is what it is.
I will wear apparel of any team I don't hate.
That's fair. Yeah, Iowa did have a good run.
The Cardinals are on that list. Michigan Wolverines are on that list, and the Chicago White Sox.
Is Michigan the biggest rivalry for Notre Dame over USC?
I would be more comfortable rocking a USC shirt than I would Michigan, but I wouldn't rock a USC shirt. But those are the four really for me that I just am like, yeah, I'm good. Everything else,
just because of proximity with the Michigan thing.
Because I'm a Notre Dame fan, and then we have the rivalry. It was a rivalry for a while. Then Michigan stopped wanting to play us because they were bad. Get it straight, haters. So yeah,
I agree.
For me, that was always one of the bigger games for me growing up. Was always because it gets pretty heated because I'm right on the border of Michigan, from where I'm at. So, but yeah, go Irish, baby. And maize isn't even a real color, guys. Come on, it's not even a real color.
Listen, I have no affiliation with Michigan at all. You can rag on Michigan.
And then just for like we kind of thought the Cardinals thing, you know how I feel about the White Sox. I'm just a Cubs guy, so yeah, and I'm just not a Southsider. So when they were the worst team in baseball last year, it was pretty awesome.
It's pretty simple for me. It's New York Yankees, Pittsburgh Penguins. No, what the hell? Pittsburgh Steelers. Jesus. Pittsburgh Steelers, Los Angeles Lakers, and the Montreal Canadiens. Those are the arch nemesis of my sports teams. Now, the Patriots have multiple. The Baltimore Ravens you could throw in there. You could throw the Colts in there as well. But just of all those teams, I loathe the Pittsburgh Steelers because they talk shit and they were punks and we beat them every time and they still talk shit. And
I'm
as a teenager,
so mesmerized by this conversation. I didn't listen to Mrs. Pluggo's text.
Wow. Jeez.
You guys are
Get it together. Well, you know, this is what happens. We're talking wrestling and sports and getting in it.
Yeah.
But those are my sports hatreds. So in Iowa, obviously, you have Iowa State.
Iowa State,
Bears,
Minnesota, Wisconsin, Nebraska.
So all right.
Screw Nebraska.
So now this is fun for me because I live in the Northeast. I live in Massachusetts. We clearly have colleges in Boston College, but like college sports is not cared about in this region. We do not. Hockey a little bit.
Us Midwesterners love it, dude.
So college football, I obviously watch and I pay attention to, but I'm in a region where it's not talked about on sports radio. We don't dive into it. It's just not treated the way the pro sports are. Yeah. So you're an Iowa guy. So you, for the most part, hate every other team in your conference for the most part.
Pretty much. Yeah.
And you as a Notre Dame, I know you don't have a conference.
That's right. We hate everybody. No, everybody hates us.
Yes, that is true. That's different for me because like I don't hate everybody that's in the American League East. Like I don't give a shit about the Tampa Bay Rays. I don't hate them.
Yeah.
I just don't care. The Baltimore Orioles, they're fine. You know, like I hate the Yankees. You know what I mean? So like that must be crazy how it's just a different way of rooting.
I wouldn't say I hate everybody in the Big Ten, but there's some teams I do hate compared to disliking.
That's a lot of teams to hate.
Now it's like 16 of them or something. The Big Ten with 16 teams, or 18?
It's 18, I think. Yeah.
Jeez Louise,
I mean,
man.
the big ones. I mean, it's Nebraska and Wisconsin have always been two that I've really just. I don't know. They just it's their fans and the proximity and just. I don't know. They talk a lot of trash and they could back it up for a while, but since Nebraska's joined the Big Ten, I'm sorry, you're not what you ever were in the 90s and 80s. I'm sorry. It's just Tom Osborne's long gone. You joined the big boy conference.
When I first started like understanding and paying attention to college football in the 90s, Nebraska was like the powerhouse team in the country. They were winning national championships like every other year. Like it was all the time. It felt like
they got a QB though. Dylan Raiola might be special if he could figure it out. They got to get some coaching though. They haven't had stability coaching in Nebraska in a long time. And then Wisconsin, they'll be lucky to be 500 this year. So you might be
which is crazy because I felt like they were always.
They have a murderer's row in September into October that is just like there's 4 losses right there, easy. If they And it's brutal. I can't remember who it is, but I think Bama's one of them. Oregon, I think they got some ridiculous 4-game stretch, and that's not for conference play. It's nuts.
How do you feel about? Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, how do you feel about them? This is just I guess a conversation for sports in general, but how do you feel about them? Like immediately getting more teams in the playoff and. You know, they're we just had the playoff for the first time. I thought it went very well. It was 8 teams, and now it's immediately going to be 12, and now they're already talking how it's going to be more than that, not too far down the line. It's just like, how do we feel about that many? I felt like 8 was a good number, but I don't know.
I like 8, but I don't know. I kind of like it because in my mind, as much as I love the bowl games, there's a lot of stupid, worthless bowl games. So let's just have games that mean something. And having this tournament basically is a great way to do that. Yeah. And I think they realized after the year, I mean, I think they did a very good job for the first year of 8. but I think they also realized a few things they need to tweak.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the seating was something that was brought up, and when we go to 12, that will pretty much take care of that. But I do like that because I do feel like you're always going to have your couple teams that are always far and above, talented, better. Although this year was a little more even with a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
But this gives those opportunities to teams that, hey, might just be hot for 2-3 weeks.
Yeah.
And they might not technically be the best team paper-wise, but they figured out a way to win the game. And I'm all about that. I think that's part of the fun story of sports is you get the underdog, the guy that shouldn't win, and they go on and they win. And, I mean, that's huge, but I've always been an underdog guy, though, so I'm all about that.
No, I like it. Scott saying Wisconsin is a running back factory. That's what he says.
Well, they're seeded now 1 through 12 opposed to the buys into the conference, so that way kind of even it out a little bit.
Yeah.
It was more fun. And it's also like, I know they said it cheapens the regular season, but at the end there was so many possibilities of who could get in and who might not make it. Like, it was fun, and it was really fun to see Alabama get snubbed at the end there. That's why they're doing this. That's why they're expanding, so that they can try to keep out.
That is 100%. They were like, we can't have a play.
But it didn't do anything in the terms of like ruin the season for me. This was the first season with the expanded playoff, and I was kind of against it at first, but then I was like, wow, look at all this. Like Notre Dame, for instance, and I'm going to say, because that's my team, they lost to Northern Illinois or whatever it was. That in past years, they got no shot. But hey, then every game they had to win it. It became a pressure cooker every week. Like, if you lose one more, you're definitely not in. That was awesome. That kept them in it, because normally you just go, okay, we lost that game, we're out of contention. We're going to start looking towards next year. So if we lose, but no, every team had it. Like Colorado was in it till the last minute there, so that would have been cool to see them get in there. There was, I think, 3 or 4 teams in the Big 12 that had a shot going into that last week if they won their games and then won the conference game. So it keeps people in it longer, which I think is what you want. Mm-hmm. And then you lose the Gasparilla Bowl, but who really cared about that anyway?
Yeah, no one will care.
Yeah,
except maybe not even the teams that were playing in it care about those games, because they're either building towards next season or they're maybe a coach is trying to hold on to. But at the end of the day, most of those kids opt out now.
They opt out. And then the other thing that they need to fix and address is we need to have the transfer portal after the bowl games, not going into the bowl season, because that really wrecked a lot of stuff for a couple teams last year in there,
especially Penn State.
Penn State got really wrecked.
And I hate to say it because we beat them, but that Bo, I can't remember his last name, but his first name is Bo Beulah or something. Yeah, like that. He was an integral part as a backup quarterback to their offense, where he was running maybe
they had formations for him.
They had formations for him, and then he's sitting there going, well, shit, Drew Aller's coming back, so
I'm going somewhere else.
I gotta play, because I've already played enough for Penn State where I can't redshirt.
Yeah, they need to fix that.
And so he left, and it's like, they got to figure this out.
Yeah, I agree. I think that would be a major thing if that all happened. Just have the season be over. Just the season's over. There's no more games. Then you can make your moves. Doing it in that point where it's like, okay, now or at least maybe no teams that make the playoff can I don't know.
Yeah, but then you run into this. Then it's
they can do it, but we can't, and they can.
Yeah. So you're telling Georgia and Penn State they can't go into the transfer portal. Yeah. There's some stuff they got to work out, but overall, pretty excited about where college football is kind of going. In the sense that at least it's been fun.
Yeah. Can you bring the Big East back? Crying out loud.
Can you just bring back normal conferences?
What the hell, man? I love the Big East. I was more of a college basketball guy than I am a college football guy. I like football as a sport better than basketball, but college basketball was my jam. But the Big East going away, it pissed me off. I don't, it doesn't matter anymore. And I'm just like, BC's in the ACC. Okay, why?
I got to live in a world where I got to see like Connecticut and Syracuse and Pittsburgh coming to town when they were at their Big East basketball.
That was the thing. Like BC had a couple good years in basketball in that one Matt Ryan year where they were good in football, but like that was cool. You got to see, especially basketball, you got to see Syracuse come into Boston, and you got to see UConn, and you got to see and it was those teams, and St. John's, they're good again, but they were good for a long time. And it was like, these natural rivalries, and then they just
it's all about the money, baby.
Gone one day, and I was like, what the hell? That really killed college sports. Again, I do live in a region where it's not as focused as everywhere else, but I love sports, so I was still in it. But really, the conferences are the thing that irk me more than anything when it comes to college sports, because I'm like, there's like four conferences that matter now, and everyone's everywhere. I got Oregon playing in the Big Ten, which was routinely Midwest. They're in friggin' like, what are we doing?
We love that Oregon-Rutgers game.
Yeah, that rivalry. Like, what is this? And it's just
conference game in late November.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know, that kind of made it weird for me. But again, I still love it, but it just kind of made it weird for me. But anyway, I feel like we could talk about literally any sports or anything for as long as we wanted to. But we appreciate you, Tyler. I know you were playing hurt tonight, playing under the weather a little
Tyler,
bit. So we appreciate you.
We could talk to you for hours, man, but we don't want to do that to your vocal cords anymore.
Well, we'll do it again sometime. So
absolutely. But yeah, plug your stuff. Let the people know where they can find you, what you got coming up, where they can find your content and all that good stuff.
Well, normally I'm streaming Monday Night Raw and SmackDown every single week on Twitch and YouTube. I'm Tyler Wrestles on all social media, or you can go to tylerwrestles.com. It's my link tree. It has all my links to all of my social media sites and my Discord and all that stuff. I also do NXT. I didn't do it the last 2 weeks because of different things going on, but I've been doing that. I used to do AEW. I kind of want to get back into doing AEW, but I really am been debating. I might start doing TNA because nobody does TNA.
Jake Sullivan came back tonight, by the way.
Yeah, I saw that, and I love TNA, and there's a lot of people in TNA that, like I said, I go to Wrestling Revolver, and I'm really involved with them a lot, and a lot of those guys go to that or involved with that, and it's just a lot of fun. So, but yeah, Tyler Wrestles pretty much everywhere: YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, X, you name it, I'm there.
Cool. So love it, man. Love it. Pluggo, why don't you do the thing, and then we will get out of here, man.
Absolutely. One last time, go follow Tyler Wrestles.
Yes,
absolutely rules. Does a lot of crazy cool stuff. Have you won? He hasn't won it. I hope you win some of those giveaways you tag me in, because I know you're a card guy too, and I haven't won either.
You're a card guy too.
So, so hopefully you win. You're a fantastic. But yeah, you can find me, Pluggo, on all social media platforms. You search Pluggo. I'm right there. I do this show every Thursday night with this handsome gentleman over here at B2Beards on all social media to keep up with what we've got going on. We're doing a lot of crazy things this summer. Hopefully we got some things in the works, so you want to stay tuned to there. Saturday morning, 10 a.m., I'm back with Blair Pacheco talking the independent wrestling world, probably discussing some of that Revolver show that Tyler mentioned. With Blair Pacheco for 4 Exposure right here at 10 a.m. I think Big Bad Boris is joining us this week because it's LPW 38 week, and we're going to preview that as well. And then all of my writings are up on lovewrestling.ca right now.
All right, cool. You can follow me, JPJ Loves Gaming, on all social media platforms. And like Pluggo said, every Thursday night right here at 8 p.m., the flagship show here at Love Wrestling Between Two Beards. Thursday mornings at 9 a.m., I do Firmly Inc., where we do a little bit more in-depth coverage of WWE and AEW and their weeks of wrestling. And then you can catch me on Body Slam every Wednesday night after Dynamite for a post show there with Jose Gonzalez, and every Monday night after Raw for Raw Dogs over there as well. Tyler, once again, thank you for joining us. You are welcome back anytime, my friend. This was a lot of fun. Hopefully we can do this again real soon. And to everybody in the chat, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for the likes. Thanks for the shares. We appreciate you all. You all know the drill. Say hi to Sue.
Who has a new daughter-in-law.
That is true. Yeah, Trent just had a kid. Congratulations to Trent.
But
say hi to Sue. See you later, guys. Peace out.
Peace.
Hey there, Plugo and JPJ. It's Trent's mom, Sue, and I have a bone to pick with you. So, I understand that you guys are being real idiots and spending your entire monthly budget You've got to be kidding me. This is not the way to be when you're trying to run a business. Your boss, Spencer, is really pissed off at you. I'm pissed off at you. You have some nerve. You know, get a grip. You have to control yourself. You can't just go out and spend all the money that you're making, you Two Beards guys. Oh no, this is coming out so stupid. Anyway, behave yourselves, or I'm going to cut you off from watching AEW. You're no longer going to get to know, be able to meet my son. What? Or me. I'm sorry, this is like, I don't know. Anyway, thanks so much for being